friends. Welcome to Poetry Changes Lives. Poetry, history and a thought for the day are all collected in my book on a daily basis. And it's a book that gave me a lot of pleasure to write. And I hope that it will give people a pleasure to read. You can dip in and out of it on a daily basis. And I do a daily reading here. And I really enjoy doing that because somehow the power of poetry, simply reading and speaking one poem every day, makes me feel really, really great, actually. I hope you enjoy listening. On this day in 1830, the American writer and poet Emily Dickinson was born. To call her eccentric and reclusive would be understating the matter. She has such a unique voice that even today it sounds thoroughly modern, nearly 200 years after she was born. I think her poetry and her writing is absolutely amazing in its originality and its energy, and I'm a great admirer of her whole attitude to writing poetry. She was very reclusive. I think she may have had some sort of agoraphobia because she spent a large part of her adult life without going outside the family home in Amherst, Massachusetts, and a large part of that life in her own room upstairs, where she wrote a great many poems, most of which were quite unknown and only found after her death. She only published one or two in her lifetime. She did have friends. One person who particularly helped her was called Thomas Higginson. He was a literary critic and a former church minister, and he corresponded with her and supported her greatly. He only met her once, and he left this very telling description of their meeting. He described her as thus: a little plain woman with two smooth bands of reddish hair in a very plain and exquisitely clean white piqué dress with a blue net worsted shawl. He felt that she drained him of his nervous energy, and he said, "She drew from me. I am glad not to live near her." Although he was very supportive, he wasn't shrinking in his sort of view of her. I for one am very glad that Emily Dickinson has written so much, because she really put a new slant on modern poetry single-handedly, really, for her time, in the mid-19th century. I'm going to read one of her rather strange poems. Her unique voice comes through here. Why do I love you, sir? Because the wind does not require the grass to answer. Wherefore, when he pass, she cannot keep her place. Because he knows, do not you, and we know not, enough for us the wisdom to be so. The lightning never asked an eye wherefore it shut. When he was by, because he knows it cannot speak. And reasons not contained, of talk there be, preferred by daintier folk the sunrise. Sire compelleth me, because he's sunrise, and I see, therefore, then I love thee. Isn't that extraordinary? But very modern, absolutely unique voice, a complete one-off, Emily Dickinson, a truly wonderful writer. Today I reflect on people's individuality and the need not to judge others. Thanks for listening.